everybody, and welcome back to this episode of The Sent Ones, episode number 5. My name is Mark, and I'll be your host for this episode. It is currently snowing where we are, broadcasting from an undisclosed location, but it's snowing quite a bit, actually. So we're going to take a day off. We're going to keep the camper parked right where it is, and I think I'm just going to use the time to do some video editing. I'm going to make a fire and a coffee and share some stories of some of our travels so far. So if you'd like to join us for that, maybe make yourself a coffee or a hot chocolate or whatever, and join me by the fireplace for where it's warm and some stories from some trips and travels. All right, so as I get this fire built up here, all I want to do today for today's video is just share some of the stories, some of the experiences that we've had along the way so far, talk about some of the people that we've met. We've been truly blessed. We've met some really cool people along the way. So really that's what today's video is going to be about. So I'm going to get this fire going and then dive into some of that. All right, so this trip started from Milton, Ontario, which is, I don't know, about an hour from Toronto, Ontario. And we crossed over the border in Windsor. So that brought us into Michigan, and we pretty much just ripped it through Michigan, Illinois, Iowa, and until we got down into Missouri. We ended up staying at a beautiful state park called Lake of the Ozarks State Park. It was absolutely spectacular. Highly recommended. I think it's like 17,000 acres of just pristine wilderness. We ended up, I think we originally planned on staying there only for a few days, like 2 or 3 days, and then we ended up extending our stay because we really enjoyed it. It's true camping. Like you know, there's no hookups, no utilities, no electric, no water, no nothing. I mean, you fill up your water on the way in, but other than that, that's about it. Really enjoyed that place. There was some kind of a magic to it. Like, you know, we'd come outside of the camper and we'd be met with a couple of deer just hanging out, or, you know, they would cross our paths on, you know, going for a bike ride or whatever. The place was just, it had a great energy. Really awesome place. Highly recommend it. So from the Ozarks, we kept pushing south until we came into a small town called Eureka Springs in Arkansas. We had planned on being there for 2 nights to watch the Great Passion Play, which is the largest outdoor performance in America and possibly the world, where live actors reenact the story of Jesus, and it is absolutely incredible. I mean, whether you're a Christian or not, I can't recommend this performance enough. I highly recommend going to check it out. It is unbelievable. I mean, at one point they have live animals in the play. There's like over 170 actors. At one point, there's like a herd of goats that go ripping through the place. They have a camel. It's absolutely incredible. It's something to see. However, when we rolled into Eureka Springs, it was just insanely busy because, unknown to us, that exact weekend, Eureka Springs hosts one of the largest biker festivals in America. Well, it's actually in the next town over, but I mean, tens of thousands of bikes descend on Eureka Springs for I think it's called the Beer, Bike, and Blues Festival. And I mean, there are bikes as far as the eye can see. So I'm nervous enough driving the fifth wheel as it is. And not to mention, that's compounded because there's like thousands of bikers everywhere. I'm just paranoid of, you know, accidentally running one over or something. Not to mention, when we first get there, our GPS took us the most direct route to our destination, which happened to go through the busiest part of town. I'm talking like extremely narrow streets with huge hills in every direction. Luckily, some people were gracious enough to point us in the direction that would most likely get us out of this nightmare that we found ourselves in, and it did. We were able to get out. So we get to the destination where we planned on staying for a couple of nights, and it was obviously full, completely full. Every motel, every hotel in the area jammed. So we call around a few places. Now, we're not really expecting to find anywhere to stay, and we thought we were going to have to, you know, peel it out of town and then drive back in to see the Passion Play. But luckily, by the grace of God, we were able to find the last campsite at a KOA. So we go to the Great Passion Play performance the next day, and it was absolutely spectacular. And in the brief time that we spent there, we kind of fell in love with Eureka Springs a little bit. And we wanted to stay longer, but our 2-night stay was coming to an end. So before we set out to leave Eureka Springs, we took a drive over to the Great Passion Play one more time to get some footage of the Christ of the Ozarks statue that they have there. It's like a 2 million pound statue of Jesus. It's similar to the one I think it's in Rio, the Christ the Redeemer. And that is where we ran into a young lady named Andrea, who is one of the actors in the play. So we start chatting with Andrea, and we ask her if there's any possible way that we could bring our trailer over there and maybe do some volunteer work for them, because we really did love that town and we didn't want to leave just yet. So she says to us, I'm going to give you Kent's phone number. Give him a call, and he takes care of all that stuff. He might be able to find you a place to stay. And as we keep chatting with her, she also says, oh, and by the way, do you guys want to be in the play? And we just kind of started laughing. We didn't think she was serious. We came down to see the play. We didn't think there was any way that we were actually going to be pulled into the Great Passion Play. But if either of us was going to get pulled into the Great Passion Play, it would be Carmen, because she has a theater degree. So I call Kent and I leave a message, and he calls me back the next day. And he says, no problem at all. Bring your fifth wheel trailer over here. We'll find you a place to stay, and we'll see what kind of volunteer work we can find for you guys. I guess it's also worth mentioning that Kent also plays Jesus in the performance, the Great Passion Play. And he does a fantastic job, and it is so well deserved, because this man truly follows the teachings of Christ. So we ended up bringing our trailer over. We ended up staying with them for 4 nights and 4 very busy days. They found us some work, just, doing odd jobs. We did some gardening during the day. We did some work on the set. One day they had us making popcorn. It was such a cool experience. But to top it off, they did actually end up pulling us into the performance. We got to perform 2 nights in the Great Passion Play. I played a Roman soldier. Carmen played a Christ sympathizer, and I forget what her other role was. But it was really, truly such an honor, not only to be in the performance, but Kent and Andrea and everybody else that we met there. It was such an honor to meet you guys and to get to spend some time and get to know you a little bit, and meet your families. And we truly are super grateful for everything that you guys did for us while we were there. And it really absolutely was an honor to take part in the Great Passion Play led by you guys. Thank you so much.